Hey folks, how you doing? It's Nick Granville. It is Friday night, 10 p.m. We just had a nice meal. I made chicken katsu curry for my family, and then we watched a movie together, which was nice. We watched the movie Quantum of Solace. We've been working through the James Bond movies, the most recent ones, with Daniel Craig. But what I really want to talk about to you today is this guitar. You'll notice it's a little different, right? Hopefully you're seeing and hearing everything okay. I would assume you are. Yeah. So today I spent some time getting this guitar sorted out. So I put this pickup in here. So originally I had the 3 single coils in the Strat. This is my 1994 Japanese Strat. Love this guitar. Made in Japan. It was mint condition when I got it. It's got a few dings and stuff in it now, but I love this guitar. There's just something about it, and I mean, it's 30 plus years old now, which apparently, according to Reverb, is considered vintage. 30-year-old guitar doesn't. 90s guitars don't seem vintage to me, but Reverb considers them vintage, and it's really come into its own. Yeah, so but man, I don't dig the Strat pickup in there. I just don't. And so I kind of thought maybe I'd discuss that today, is like why I changed it over and did what I did. And so I've got a video coming out where I'm going to show you the process of how I went about it. Because people think with Strats, right, that they're modular. You can just buy this part, just slap it on and go. It's never the case, right? Like this guitar here, originally the screw was here, not there. So there was no screw hole here. None of the screws quite lined up. They were close enough I could make them work, but it's never that straightforward, right? These pickups didn't actually fit through the holes that had been punched there, so I had to file them a little bit to get them to fit. And then there was no countersink for the screws, so I had to give a little bit of countersink. I probably could have done that a little more. They're sticking up a little bit, but I can live with that. Right, and then I had to, of course, carve out of the body to be able to fit the humbucker, because this is not like a swimming pool route. This is the old school way, which is the best way, if you ask me, where it just has the 3 slots and then the little channel down the middle for the strings. I think they sound better. I don't know, the swimming pool route, to me, I was always told the most important part of a guitar starts here and goes right down there and right down to about there. right? It's all that, whatever's happening there in the middle. Around here, you can kind of do whatever you want, but that bit, like right under the pickups, it's got to be important, right? The more wood, the better, surely. maybe not, I don't know. But I kind of was thinking, you know, I just don't dig the single coil thing. And I put out a video recently, maybe you've seen it on my channel, where I did a video where I was talking about the best ways to make a Strat sound good, right? And yeah, I can do that, but it's kind of a case of why? Why not just let, I don't know. And I was kind of looking at it and I thought, but with that video, like I'm just going to check this stream is coming through. I'm assuming it is. I always like to check it. I've done a few of these streams before where I said to people, hey, how's it sounding? And people being like, yeah, it sounds awesome. And then they're like, and I'm like, what do you think of the backing track? And they're like, backing track? And there was no backing track. All they were hearing was just guitar. And so I'm like, oh, man, and it's killed me. So I delete those ones afterwards. But where is it? Let's just make sure this is going. Oh, you managed to catch it live. Oh, that's awesome. There we go. Why is that not showing up on my thing? I just want to make sure it's all coming through good. Is everything... I mean, let me know in the chat. Is it coming through okay? Oh, yeah, there we go. Now, why can't I open that? Come on, YouTube. Come on, YouTube. I just want to make sure it's going. Oh, here's the guitar. Is it coming through? Oh, there we go. Now it came up. There we go. Yeah, so I had to carve out the body, which was kind of a little bit scary, but many of you might not know, but I'm actually a woodworker. That's something I do as a thing. So this amp that's over here, you can't really see it at the moment, but my amp that I converted, I built that cabinet for it. I built my grandfather a letterbox. I built my daughter a bedside cabinet to put her books and stuff on. I built knife blocks. I've built chopping boards. I've built desks, tables, all kinds of stuff like that. I actually really like woodworking, so chiseling it out wasn't that scary for me, you know. But it's come out awesome. But I totally screwed up the wiring. So what I did, these are the two original Strat pickups. They're the standard ones. And then that one there is a Mr. Glenn Integrity humbucker. Mr. Glenn, my favorite pickup maker in the world. I have tried heaps of them. They're as good as the very best of the best. Now, I'm not talking about the low-end stuff. I'm talking about the high-end stuff. Like I've had Jason Lola's pickups. I've met Jason a few times. He's a cool guy. His pickups are amazing. I've had a bunch of Lindy Fralins, that kind of level of pickups. I think Mr. Glenn's is just as good. And I really dig that they're made in New Zealand. That to me is one of the things I wanted to do with this guitar. So, made in New Zealand pickup, right? And then I changed the whole wiring harness. And Brad from Tone Merchants in New Zealand, he made me a wiring harness. So it's a volume. It's a little different. 5-way blade selector, standard Strat kind of setup, right? Volume works for all three pickups. Tone control works for all three pickups. This one says tone control on it, but it's not. It's a blender control. Check this out. It's pretty cool. So if you go bridge pickup, if you turn that down, you now blend in the neck pickup. 100% blend in. And then same thing, if you're on the neck pickup, you can blend in the bridge pickup. So you can get a Telecaster kind of thing, right? So if I'm on neck pickup, this is neck pickup. But let's blend in bridge pickup. It's kind of Telecaster-like, right? I mean, it's still humbucker, so. Neck pickup on its own. meant to do. So of course, that just gives you like a whole another option. And of course, it all changes when you go to distortion, right? That's the Friedman model in my Fractal FM3. But I'm going to go neck pickup, and then I'm going to go blend. So you can see it just kind of fattens things. Oh man, thank you so much. I really work on my right hand a lot. It's probably the thing I work on the most when it comes to guitar playing, to be honest. But you see, if I go bridge pickup, normal bridge pickup, humbucker. Now I'm going to blend a neck. Now, it took a few goes to kind of get it right, because I don't know about electronics. I really don't. Like, I mean, I know how to use a soldering iron, and I wouldn't say I'm a good solderer. So when the video comes out and you see it, don't be judging the soldering. But I can get it done. But I got it all wired up, and I was like, and I came in here and I was like, I put the humbucker on, and I was like. And I was just like, man, that's awesome. And then I went to the neck pickup, and it literally sounded like this. And I was like, what the hell have I done wrong? So I took the whole thing apart, and then I text Glenn. This is how cool Glenn is, right? I text Glenn, and I'm like, dude, what have I done wrong? And he goes, oh, I don't know. So I sent it. He goes, send me the diagram. So I sent him the diagram of what I was how I was supposed to wire it all. And I checked through it, and I looked at it, and I went, yeah, I've done everything right. And then I sent him a little video. So I videoed the inside of the guitar with all the pickups out, like, you know, showing the naked side of this guitar. And he looked at it, and he goes, you've got the resistors the wrong way around. You've got them in parallel. They need to be in series. So the way it works, right, with these pots, you put 500k pots, which would normally be what you put on a humbucker, right? But a single coil wants 250k pots, not 500k pots. They're too bright with 500k, right? So you put these resistors on it, and the idea being that those ones see 250k, and that sees 500, which is what it wants to see, right? Because essentially, when you think about it, you're kind of combining like Gibson idea with Fender idea. They're not meant to kind of work together. So this resistor idea is the idea, and it works really well. I just put it in line with the pickups. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, my thinking was, well, the pickup, the signal goes down the pickup, goes through the resistor, which brings it down to 250k and then out. And Glenn was like, no, it needs to be in parallel. So what you do is you wire it onto the terminal, and then you have the resistor coming off that, and that goes off to ground. So I guess taking the pickup out to ground it, and that's how it sees 250. And I was like, wired it up, and I was like, boom, done. And I've done a few guitar things before. Ben Shepherd, how you doing, man? And my man. Oh, and it's funny. I was just saying I'd done a video about all this, and it's going to come out in the next few days, where I showed the kind of process of chiseling out for the pickup and installing all this thing, and then having to try and align all the holes and all that kind of stuff. And I was watching your live stream this morning, bro, because I missed your live stream. It was too early in the morning for me, and so I watched it. I was listening to it on repeat while I was doing the work on the guitar. So partway through the thing, I hold my phone up to the camera and say, look at what I'm watching. And it was you doing your chord melody stuff. Fucking awesome, bro. You sound amazing. I remember putting pickups in my dad's bass out of phase. That's what usually happens. Usually, like, pickups are out of phase. One pickup will need some kind of thing. Especially this pickup here's a reverse wound, like you normally have on a Strat, right? So you get hum cancelling. Like if I go neck pickup, and then, right, noise cancels. So I expected that to be out of phase, and I'd have to swap some wires around or whatever. it's both. It's with the blended. I forgot to grab my whammy bar. So the guitar's going in for a setup on Monday morning. Gonna take it to Rob Mathews to get it done, because I want it to play a little better. It's kind of feeling like a little bit of a fight the way it is. And this B string, see, it doesn't ring properly, which is an issue with the nut. I think it just needs a new nut cut for it. So I plan to do that. But yeah, that blender thing, right? If I go to this, you should hear it even clearer. It's a bit loud. Right, yeah, it's what it is. And you might be thinking, well, why would you do it with the Strat pickup? Wouldn't I need the single coil? No, to be honest, if I ever really, really needed the single coil in the bridge, which is never going to happen, right? Like a single coil in the bridge on a Strat, I don't dig it, right? Like I can make it work, as I pointed out in that video that I've already done, by using the tone control and the volume controls and how you get compression and how you hit the front of the amp. I can make it work. But it's not going to be my first choice. If I wanted single coil and I wanted that in the bridge position, man, I'm going to be hitting the Telecaster, right? The Telecaster is way better at that kind of thing. So then I've got this if I really needed it, for whatever reason, like maybe on a recording. But I kind of thought, like, for me, this is the one guitar I want to play. I need to get another one of these too. The original one that I had, the little doodacky. If you can see that, is it going to show up? Come on. See, it's like really tiny, and this is like a proper full-size blade. Won't fit, so I've got to get another one of those, but it'll do for now. Now, Ben says, what about a single coil bridge in the Hendrix position? Do you mean by the Hendrix position like the position back one? There it is, right? It's a bit buzzy though. I gotta get it the work done. What is it? Yeah, so I'm going to do that. Ben says no, because his guitar was strung lefty on a right-handed guitar, it meant the low strings were on the opposite side of the angled bridge picker. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I totally agree with you. I always felt the pickup was the wrong way around. And new strings, of course. Going out of tune. I always felt the Strat pickup was the wrong way around. If you look at this, why would you want the lower strings to be further away from the bridge and sound fatter, and the treble strings, which are already brighter, right? The treble string would be closer to the bridge. That's why I always thought it should be the other way around, right? You want the warmer, higher strings and the clearer, lower strings. So that's why the Hendrix thing with playing lefty, right? The lower strings are the ones closer to the bridge. That always made more sense to me. Oh, shit. The Hendrix thing, you know? But, whatever. What time is it wherever you all are? It is 10:27 p.m. here in New Zealand. So I'm having red wine. We just watched a movie, me and the fam. So we watched Quantum of Solace. Pretty good. Enjoyed it. Oh, it's 3 p.m. Okay, that's a decent hour, isn't it? Patrick says it's 10:27 a.m. Okay. So you must be in the UK then, I guess, if it's that time. It was in tune when I bought it. It's because you're in trouble, aren't you, Ben? That's why you're doing the dishes, because you're in trouble. The island next door. Which island's that? France? Ireland? Ireland. I think it's the wiring's been done 50s style too. If you've just joined, I've put a new humbucker in here and I've completely stripped the whole wiring harness. When we were in the UK, we got as far north as Scotland and into the Scottish Highlands, and of course all around Wales and the UK, but never actually made it across to the other island. And from what I understand, it's amazing there. We met these people in Spain. We were in Spain and we found this car parking area where you could park your camper van, and it was provided by the city. It was really cool. So we pulled up there. They had showers and rubbish collection areas and all kinds of stuff, toilets. You know, it was awesome. They just provided this because they want you to go there. It was Zaragoza was the place, which is kind of inland from Barcelona, about 2 hours. And mic is cutting out. Oh dear. What have I done? Maybe I'm running a little too hot. Zaragoza. I think I am running it a little too hot. There we go. Hopefully that's better. And Zaragoza was a beautiful place, and they had this car parking area, right? And I was out there one night with my guitar. I had that Talman just over there, and it was really awesome. And we this car parking area, and there was this group of people that turned out. There was maybe about 4 or 5 of them, and they had 3 unbelievable camper vans. Like camper vans, they're really motorhomes, like massive big palaces, right? But anyway, one of the guys saw me playing guitar, and he came in and knocked on the door, and he's like, "You play guitar?" And I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "One of our crew, Dave, he plays guitar. Come over for some drinks." I'm like, okay. So me and the family all went over, and they started pouring wines for us, and and when we're talking wines, they were doing big glasses. Oh shit, man, it sounds good to me. I'm hearing it perfectly in my headphones. Maybe this is some YouTube gremlins or some shit, I don't know. It's not clipping on here. What about the guitar? Is the guitar cutting out? Okay, so people are saying this. Maybe it's your ears. You need to get your ears cleaned out, Ben Shepherd. You got too many bass low notes going into your ears, and they're messing you up. I'm kidding. But anyway, where I was going with that story, and they invited us over for a jam, and the guy Dave was an amazing mandolin player. He got mandolin out, and we were playing. It was very much an Irish thing, you know, kind of jamming some tunes or playing stuff, and it was awesome. It was so good. I've seen 10 drop frames in the last half hour, so which is really good, right? That's pretty good kind of coverage, and I'm hearing everything fine, so I don't know. But they invited us over for a jam, and so we were going to play, and we probably stayed for about 3 or 4 hours. They wouldn't let us leave. And it was getting pretty late by then. My daughter was like 10, and so I said to her, we got to go. But anyway, they wrote down their phone number, and they're like, if you ever come to Ireland, we've got a big farm. You're welcome to come and stay anytime. And really lovely people. But we just didn't make it. We couldn't get over there. So one thing I'm looking for with pickups, with any of this stuff, and this is one thing I talked to Glenn about, is because he initially suggested that maybe just going for a hotter single coil. But one of the things I find with the bridge pickup is, like, if I play neck pickup, that's where I live, like, most of the time, right? Like, I could do everything there, right? Yeah, I believe so, Patrick. My stepfather, who really was the main father figure in my life, really was my father. He was half Irish and half Scottish, if you can imagine that. The brutal mix. He was a good man. But I could kind of do that, like, most of the night on some gigs, right? But if I go to the bridge pickup, it's pretty much for one intention, and that's going to be like this sort of thing, like rockin', right? Or like soloing. Bit of noise. A little less. That's the quietest one. But you can see, like, you don't have that single coil kind of thing that's going on. Yeah. So, way better in that sense. For one guitar to kind of do it all, is what it's hoping for. And I have the Ibanez AZ, so I could use that, or AZ if you want to call it that. That to me is more like a modern Strat, right? Like very modern kind of guitar. This guitar is like an old school kind of guitar, but with a humbucker in it, right? So it kind of suits that kind of thing more. If I wanted a more modern guitar, I'd grab the AZ. If I wanted a very more traditional Strat, I'd grab the Squire. This is still a good guitar. I only paid $200 for it, you know, but it works. If I wanted another type of single coil there, I could go for the Telecaster. If I wanted another type of single coil, I could go for the Paul Reed Smith with the P90s. So you can see kind of why, like, I've got the single coil bridge thing covered if I need it. That's why it's nice to have that in there. Oh, sorry about the outages. I don't know what is. Maybe there's some gremlins in the sky tonight. Cheers, everybody. Yeah, there are some great people in Ireland. I got to get over there one day. What gauge of strings are you using on the Strat, bro? I use 10 to 46 elixirs. These ones. I try and buy them in a 3-pack if I can, because it's cheaper. Is that going to focus? There we go. 10 to 46, 3-pack. Still $60, $20 a set. Sometimes I get discounts on them. I was an Elixir endorser for a while. So if anybody knows someone at Elixir, tell them to give me a ring again. The people who bring them into New Zealand, it changed hands of who was doing it a bunch of times, and the new person who did it kind of didn't know anything about anything, and it got to be such a hassle. But if I could find another set of strings that were equally as good, I'd swap in a heartbeat, you know what I mean? I use 11s on the Les Paul and any of that kind of scale length. The SCO guitar has 11 to 50, 11 to 49, and there's a 10 to 46 on the Fender scale. Mostly because I had the issue with my arm when we did We Will Rock You, so I went down to 10s because of that. And I've kind of stuck with it because it's not worth the risk for me. Yeah, I don't want to go there again. Yeah. Do you still have the tone knob routed to the bridge? No, as I was mentioning earlier, this is now a blend knob. So it has volume, tone, and then blend. And the blend is really cool. So if I go neck pickup, I can turn this control the opposite way and blend in the bridge pickup. So that's now neck and bridge. The same with on the bridge pickup. Right. So having that as a blender control has been pretty awesome, and I'm pretty sure he did it as 50s wiring. That's what I asked for, so I think that's what he did. 50s wiring like they did on the Gibsons of the 50s and stuff, and it means that the way it kind of tunes down, it kind of stays a little more natural. It's not like it kind of is like a treble bleed in that it doesn't get as dark when you turn down, but not as, yeah, it's definitely nice. Do you think the tone sound changes if you put 11s on that Strat? Totally, it does change, right? The thing with gauge of strings is it's not as drastic as people say. People make out changing your gauge of strings is going to be this massive difference. It isn't. Going from 10s to 11s, some people wouldn't even hear a difference in your audience, right? They might not even notice it. But as a player, you will notice it. It feels heavier, bends feel heavier, the notes have more immediacy the higher you go in gauge. Not always for the better. And that's the thing to remember. Like if you go up a gauge of strings, people think, well, if I go up to bigger strings, better tone. Not always. It can mean dark. Every guitar has its sweet spot, in my opinion. The Schofield guitar, the JSM 100 that I have, when I went up to 12s on that guitar thinking it would be better, it got worse. It just didn't have the bright sparkle anymore. I went back down to 10s. 11s on that guitar. That was the sweet spot. I went to 10s. It just didn't have the weight in it anymore. 11s was the sweet spot. This guitar, 10s seems to be the sweet spot. And also with the longer scale length being Fender's scale length, I find that the tension is about right for me. But yeah, there's definitely a sound difference, but it's subtle. And that subtlety is huge to the player and not so much to the audience, although the audience notices the things that affect you as a player. That's the thing. I remember a singer once to me saying, oh man, why do you bother bringing an amp and just bring your Fractal all the time and do this rah and whatever. And he was like, trying to tell me what to do. I mean, first, which is a dick move. Like, don't be telling anyone else what to do, because especially if you don't play the instrument, right? Like, spend my life playing guitar. Like, why does some singer think that he knows more about guitar than I do? All right, good one. But anyway, his thing was like, well, the audience doesn't notice the difference, so why don't you just bring the modeler or whatever? And I'm like, yeah, but I notice the difference, and that's the thing, right? And to me, it's like, I don't think the Fractal was better than the amp, and I don't think the amp is better than the Fractal. They're just different tools, right? And I use the right tool for the job. Some gigs, the Fractal is the perfect thing. Like if I do theatre shows where you can't have any stage volume, the Fractal wins. I mean, that's what I'm playing through right now. And I completely missed all those harmonics. What an egg. That was a dumb thing to do. Anyway, story of my life. But it's 10:40 p.m. tonight. My daughter is asleep in the room next door. And I'm playing with a cranked kind of lead tone, right? Now, there's no way I could do that with an amp right now, right? Like, it's just, I couldn't. So for me, the Fractal's the perfect tool right now for that. Now, if I did a couple of jazz gigs in the last week, one with a trio, one with a trio and one with a quartet, one in a bar in town, loud bar, and then one was for a corporate function the other night. And playing an acoustic archtop guitar. Now, that makes no sense for me to bring the Fractal in that instance, right? It's acoustic jazz kind of sound. So I just bought my little Victoria tube amp, plugged straight in, no pedals, and let the room reverb be the thing, and it worked great, right? Because it's the right tool for the job. Ron Cup says, yeah, bro, I'm not a pro guitarist, but yeah, for me, with my Tele, I found 11s to be better, because 10s sounded a bit thin to me, and 11s was just the right sound for me, especially when I bend. That's the thing, and it's different for every guitar, for sure, but I totally agree. I think I have 11s on my Tele, too, and for the same reason, but it depends on the guitar. The other thing, too, to remember with a Strat, because of the tremolo, if you go up too heavy, the tremolo becomes, you have to have a lot of springs on the other side to make up for the tension of the strings, right? If you go up to 13s or like whatever Stevie Ray Vaughan did, you probably need to use a whole lot of springs in the back to counter it. And then the tremolo it loses its kind of smoothish kind of motion. Do you know what I mean? So it's sort of one of those things, yeah. And your left hand and your strength, yeah, totally. I think it's a gradual thing too. If you start with 9s and go to 11s, you're going to find that hard. But if you start with 10s and go to 11s, like just go up one gauge, yeah, it'll feel a bit heavy to start, but before you know it, you get used to it. One thing to be said for playing lighter strings, though, that people don't talk about, I haven't heard really anybody discuss this, is that when you play lighter strings, one thing that happens is you can't dig in as hard, right? Because with lighter strings, they're kind of going to bounce back a little. There's a bit more vibration in them than a heavier string, right? So you can't hit as hard, so it kind of forces you to play lighter. I really like that about them. But, I remember Sko doing a gig, and he'd been using 13s before that, and I think he went down to 10s maybe. Might have been 10s or 11s. Whichever it was, like it was a big jump down. I couldn't hear the difference. He sounded the same. So, but he noticed it, I'm sure. Any questions about guitar playing? You want to know anything that I can show you? Yeah, see, there you go. Ben Shepherd just said that if you haven't subscribed to Ben's channel, go and check it out. Like, great musician, a dear friend, and somebody who's doing really great work on YouTube. And, just go and subscribe, because you'll learn heaps about music. I mean, sure, he's a bass player, but if you play guitar, you want to know about all that stuff anyway. He says Alan Holdsworth played 8s, but he never dug in at all. And that's the thing, right? Like, with lighter strings, you can't dig in because you'll break them. But Alan Holdsworth sounded amazing. There's another one. If you haven't listened to Alan Holdsworth, go and check him out. The thing that's crazy for me with Alan Holdsworth is there's someone that I like his playing, but I don't really play that way, right? That's not really kind of ever been my goal, but it's been something I've always appreciated. But nobody sounds like him. Like most players, you hear them play, like whoever it is, whoever, you say this person, and you can kind of trace their origins of how they got to sound that way. You can't do that with Alan Holdsworth. You just get Alan Holdsworth play, and there's a bug in my wine. He just wanted to come for the party. Yeah, but it's subscribe to Bass with Benjamin. Good on you, man. Yeah, he's doing great stuff, man. And every time I watch it, I learn something. I hear him play, and I'm like, I was watching some. Like I said, when I was doing the wiring stuff on the guitar today, I was listening to Ben's live stream, which I missed him actually doing, but I watched it on repeat. I remember hearing these chord things, and he was talking about minor 11 chords, and about how minor 11s kind of work really well on a lot of the stuff he plays. And I was thinking, it does for me too. I don't know what it is about the minor 11. That sound. That 11th sound. And I've actually been working on that lots in my playing. Hey, Miss Stephanie, how you doing? Working on that lots of my playing, because I play a lot of arpeggios. I really like arpeggios because it's a good sound on guitar and a good sound on music in general. And a lot of arpeggios are a good way to spell chords and to play chord changes, right? But I've been finding I've been doing so at the exclusion of playing the fourth on things. So I've been finding if I have a chord like this. Totally, man. Yeah, it's funny how often I hear your live streams and things, Ben, and I go, "That sounds like our stuff, right?" Like your sonic fingerprint on that album is massive, bro. Like, yeah, this. What is it? God, I can't even remember how that goes. That stuff, you know. But yeah, the minor 11 thing. Playing the 11 of a chord, especially on a minor chord. Miss Stephanie says, I broke a string last night and ordered 10s, which I am used to. Is it easier if I'm learning to solo to buy 9s? Will it make a big difference? It makes a big difference to the player, but the listener probably won't even notice it. If you're used to 10s, I'd just say stick with that. All right, you don't need to change it. If it's working, don't change. You know, it's so often we get caught up in things like cheers everybody. I think so often we're getting caught up in things, and we kind of think, you know, I need to do this and I need to change this, and there's so much good things, so many good things happen in music, I think, when you just kind of work with the tools you've got and try and make the most of them. Would you all agree? I think so, right? Which is one thing I like about the Strat, right? Like I'm determined to. This is kind of the number one right now for me, and I'm kind of thinking like I just want to charge. That's why I changed the pickup and did this, change the wiring and all of that as well. Is I just want to kind of settle down on one guitar, and then it's kind of almost don't even think about the guitar at that point. Do you know what I mean? And it gets to that point where you kind of go, well, if I don't have to think about the guitar, I can focus more on the music. And actually, funny, I had one of the jazz gigs the other night. I was actually going to take this, and I so wish I had. Patrick says that, Nick, do you have courses, lesson pack, etudes with transcriptions, especially in Fusion? I don't. I've actually thought about putting out a course that's been something on my mind for a while. And funny enough, I actually filmed one about 5 or 6 years ago, and I never put it out. The main reason was I kept, like, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, this sucks. And this is boring, and nobody's going to want this, and all those kind of things that you kind of say to yourself. And so it's kind of just sat there, and I've thought, maybe I should just put it on YouTube and just make it free anyway, and then I mean, it's already done, but it was like a rhythm guitar thing, and that was what got me thinking was, do I want to put out my first course being a rhythm guitar thing? And rhythm guitar seems to be the less popular thing on YouTube over soloing. That's a matter of fact. You can look at all my analytics and see that people want to know more about soloing than about rhythm guitar. But yeah, I've definitely been thinking about it for a while, and no, I don't really have any transcription stuff like that, but I do have my master's exegesis is on my Buy Me a Coffee page, which is linked below. If you go on my Buy Me a Coffee page, I think it's like $5 or $10. So it's 5 or 10 New Zealand dollars is like nothing in the US, and like €1, not quite, but almost, right? I totally agree. Rhythm guitar is crucial, right? But in that master's exegesis, I transcribed a whole bunch of John Scofield's stuff. Fusion stuff, so his Meant to Be album, I transcribed most of the album. I transcribed a bunch of his solos. I wrote some big band arrangements of his songs, of my songs that I'd kind of arranged, and a couple of his that I'd arranged for big band, and did a whole lot of analysis and stuff. So maybe that might be something that you want to check out. And it's pretty cheap on there. I've got a couple of Fractal presets on there too, if people were into Fractal users. But yeah, I should do some more of that kind of stuff. So maybe the summer would be the time to kind of get some more of that stuff out in the world. And the hard thing for me is trying to put a stamp on it, because I don't just want to do more of the same thing, right? Like looking at what everyone else is doing and then just do more of that. If I'm going to add something to the dialogue, I want it to be something different, right? That's at least how I look at it. So yeah, I've been thinking about it. Question bar. What new or recent guitar players caught your attention? Pop, rock, or jazz or blues? Man, I've been listening to quite a bit of Bumblefoot lately. You know, the kind of metal rock prog kind of player. It's freaking awesome. And then I was so stoked to see that Rick Beato put out a interview with him today. Ron Thal Bumblefoot. I think that guy's awesome. And he had all kinds of stuff that I'd never thought of before in that Rick Beato thing. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Here's this little hole in his guitar here, and I thought it was a button. But what it is he has a thimble in there. You know those little sewing things that people use to put on their finger so that when they're pressing down on needles, the needle doesn't go back into their finger. It's like a little metal thing. Well, he uses it, and he kind of has all this thing where he, if you play a note here, then you can play that one, right? And you kind of look at that as being an exact 12 frets away, right? It's kind of a division of the frets of the scale length, right? 12th fret is kind of so 12, 24, that would be with 36s, I think is how it works, right? It's a division. And by having something metal, kind of emulating what a fret would do, he can play all these other notes up here with that thimble on his finger, the sewing hat, whatever you want to call it. I was like, man, that's such a cool idea, and not something I'd ever thought of doing. Yeah, rhythm guitar is so crucial, isn't it? It's kind of the thing. And even, you'll often hear me talk about on the channel about rhythm stuff. And I've got a video coming up about how to play with feel, which is one that I've been wanting to put out for a while, and it's already filmed and done. I've just got to upload it to my YouTube channel, so I'll get that out this weekend. But I think that like rhythm guitar is kind of where it's at, and rhythm in general. And when I say rhythm in general, I don't mean just like your rhythm guitar. Like a rhythm guitar part would be something like, something like that. But I mean like your rhythm in terms of how you play anything. Like if I play something like, there's a certain rhythmic thing about it. I got to stop reading your comments. I keep looking there and reading your comments. My camera's here, and then just slightly off screen is my computer, and your comments are right there, and I keep seeing stuff. Yeah, you're right. Thanks for going to buy me a coffee. Do you fancy a latte or Americano? Well, in New Zealand we have flat whites. Do you have flat whites in that part of the world? Right, that's a rhythm guitar, but even something... That's the blender. So, okay, yeah, I can do Fly Me to the Moon. But you see there's like a certain rhythm that I'm trying to create. Flat white was apparently invented in New Zealand, but the Australians try to steal it, which is what happens a lot. Common rivalry between Kiwis and Aussies. A flat white is basically 2 shots of espresso, heated milk, and no kind of fluff or anything. The most common equivalent I've seen in the US would be a cappuccino, but without the frothy kind of crap on the top. And then I think in the UK, I think you have them in the UK. I remember going, and in Ireland I think too. Yeah, in the UK when I was there, they had flat whites at Nero. Do you have Nero in Ireland? Oh man, I really appreciate that. You guys are so kind. Thank you. I wish I'd warmed up. That's the blend. So that's bridge pickup and neck pickup. I guess in theory, if you were in that position, so position 2, you would have neck, you'd have all 3 pickups. Surely, right? Like that's position 2 and just normal up on full. And if it's all 3 pickups. Yeah. So this is... Yeah, I can hear a change. Don't know if I'd use that, but I think the blend just gives you another. Oh, you have Nero there. Okay, cool. But they're not cheap. Yeah, I know. Coffee in general seems to go on through the roof. I get mine in Dunnies, the Irish Marks and Sparks if you want. Okay, I see. Cool. Some guy says chiming in from Saints Country. Awesome. So players I've heard, guitar players caught my attention. Sorry, I never did get to that. Pop, rock, jazz or anything. Who have I heard lately? New players. I'm always finding new players to listen to, you know. There was someone I heard the other day. I was watching LRA Feingold's thing on Instagram, and someone asked her a really good question, actually. The question was, can she suggest any jazz guitar players who have the stank about their playing? Do you know what I mean about the stank? The grease, the kind of stuff like that. And she mentioned somebody, and I can't remember the guy's name. I'll see if I can find it. And he's good. Man, I liked his playing a lot. Andrew Renfro. This guy. I probably should follow him. They're gonna... Come on. Andrew Renfro. He sounds good. And checked him out. Sounds great. I should follow him. In fact, I'll do that right now. There you go. And if you haven't followed me on Instagram, go and do that. I post on it. I'm posting more on Instagram at the moment. I like Instagram. Fly Me to the Moon. Defrancesco. Yeah, I like that tune, and that idea. Joey Defrancesco thing that he does on that the Goodfellas trio. If you haven't seen that, go on YouTube and type in Joey Defrancesco trio, and you'll find him playing "Fly Me to the Moon." He kind of does the Count Basie ending and all that stuff, you know. Yeah. Cheers, everybody. Man, I gotta say what a Jedi Glenn is with these pickups, man. Every time I talk to that guy, he tells me something that I didn't know, and that just seems so obvious to me that I'm like, how did I not know that? Like, he just seems to know, like, we were talking about pickups, and I said that the pickup on that guitar there, that you can probably see that one. It's kind of weird doing this all in reverse, and it doesn't quite look like what it is. That one there, the Ibanez AR520, which is a fantastic guitar. And I said that the neck pickup for some reason was really dark on that guitar. You know, it just didn't. And he built me a new pickup for it. And I was talking to him about it the other day, and I said, you know, I said to him, you seem to nail it every time that I get. I said, this is what I want to achieve, and you know how to do it. Do the thing, right? And there's no bullshit with it. It's not like, we're going to sprinkle a little bit of this. He just goes, oh, yeah, well, this will be the thing. You know what I mean? But with that one, I said, like, why was that pickup dark? And we built a new one, and all of a sudden it was like guitar came to life. And he said that usually when pickups are wound, if they wind it too perfectly, then that's when the pickup can sound dark, right? That's why people like the scatter wound, more hand wound kind of thing, because it tends to be more natural sounding, right, rather than darker sounding, right? And I was like, that makes perfect sense, like, you know what I mean? One man band, you hear? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock at night. It's Friday night though, you know. Have a bunch of gigs next week for the Wellington Jazz Festival, if anyone's in Wellington. It's the 10th of October now. When's the next gig? Let me look this up, because I can't even remember what day things are. I got a gig Friday night with the singer Ali Affleck, Scottish singer who's like a jazz blues singer, with Oscar Lavin, the saxophone player. Speaking of whom, I was talking to Oscar, and he tuned in on the live stream that I did with Blaine, and I said, dude, I'd love to have you come and play. Let's do a guitar and saxophone thing. And he was like, just say the word. He was into it. So I was like, perfect. So I'm going to get him on the channel sometime, and we'll just play some tunes, and you guys can ask him questions. It'll be cool. But anyway, he's running this band. On Friday night, we're playing at Undercurrent. And then on Saturday, I'm doing a 3-guitar thing. It's going to be super cool with Tyson Smith and Lockie Bennett. Lockie used to be my student at jazz school for a minute. And Tyson's a guitar player I've known for a long time. We've played together on a bunch of gigs and different things, and they're both fantastic guitar players. But we're going to do a 3-guitar thing. So we're going to do, it'll be a drummer and a bass player and a piano player. There'll be the rhythm section. We'll each play a set, and then we're going to come back out and do all 3 of us at once. And they're calling it 3 Guitars at 3. So that's going to be awesome. I'll show you guys the poster. So that's the Saturday at 3 o'clock. This coming Saturday. No, not tomorrow, a week away. Let's see if I can show you. There we go. Is that going to work? There you go. I love how Tyson's kind of lurking in the background. But it's Wellington Jazz Festival. And then I'm playing on Sunday as well. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday with the same singer, Ali Affleck, and the Scottish lady. I believe she's Scottish. I haven't met her yet. I don't know what we're playing yet. I haven't heard anything about the gig other than the date's been booked. But that'll be at Meow in Wellington. Meow Jazz Club. So it'll be cool. Okay, Ron Carp says, are you okay to check out a guitarist from Goa? I think Warren Mendoza won home. Sure. Always like hearing new players. For sure. Joe Walsh. Here we go. Joseph Walsh. Kia ora, mate. Kia ora. What's the deal with your Highway 1 tally? Would you consider trading that for my mate and master sound? Nah, dude, that tally's staying with me. Like, that's my but thank you. No, that guitar, I'm going to grab it and I'll show you a couple of reasons why you probably don't want it. Well, right, so when I bought this guitar, we were doing a TV show, and I bought this because I needed like a single coil in the bridge. I needed the tally thing, right? So I drew my daughter's hand on the back of it. That was when she was 4 years old. So when she's older and an adult, she can have this. She can put it on her wall and do whatever she wants with it. You know what I mean? So this is going to be hers. I've also kind of carved, you see, I've kind of smoothed that out a little bit because it was just digging into my arm. And one day, it happens all the time with me because I'm often reading on gigs, so I have a music stand here and you're quite close to it, right? And sometimes I'll reach down to change a pedal or something and I'll lean back up and go bang and bang guitars. Happens all the time. But this one, I actually took a pretty big chunk out of it on a metal stand, and it was catching on jackets and things. So I had to smooth it over anyway, so I just took it a little bit further and it's more comfortable. And then I did that little bit there just because, you know, the old beer belly. But I had this modified. It's actually got, there's a video on my channel, and these are machinist bolts, and it's got threaded inserts so I can take this off. So this guitar for me is my travel guitar. So if I have to do international travel, this is the guitar I'm going to take because I can take the neck off and I can carry it on the plane and not have any issues. So yeah, so I won't be saying long it, but man, have a look around. You can find those Highway ones around all over the place. They're the best bargain tally you can get, in my opinion, because the nitro finish, I believe, really thin finish too, so they sound really good. US made to the US spec, right? Good pickups. They have Seymour Duncans in them, all that kind of stuff, and they were kind of not the cheapest US made ones, but kind of, you know, yeah, go for it. Ron Cup says his name is Elvis Lobo. Would love to hear your feedback on his playing. He's quite the player. I've heard of him before. You're not? Have you told me about him before? Or is Warren? Maybe it was Warren told me about him. I know that name. Maybe I've seen him on Instagram. I have a feeling. man. New strings, so I have a feeling Warren sent me some stuff of him to check out. Let me just check and see if it's the same guy, because I bet it is. And so, there we go, Black Strat Blues. My buddy Warren Mendonza, fantastic guitar player. Roshan guitar, that was the guy he sent me. Awesome player. Is that going to focus? It'll want to focus on the face. No, that wasn't him. But he sent me a few, and I'm sure he sent me a couple of that Elvis dude that you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not going to look through these now, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the guy he was talking about. Where are we? Clever Antonio says, man, beautiful playing. Where are you from? Thank you very much. I'm from Wellington, New Zealand. I've been here. I was born here. I've lived abroad, but always we come back here because this is where my family is, and this is really home for us. You know what I mean? Like it's a good place to raise kids. And then my daughter's here, and she's at college and stuff. So. I don't want your buckle rash. Yeah, exactly. It's like a beat up. All my guitars are beat up. They just, you can see this one, like there, like the chips has got little, you can't really see many of them, but there's a whole lot of little like buckle rash and dents and things, and it's like, and then of course this bit, I don't know if you can see that on the fretboard, on the neck, I mean, right there. Again, it's the bloody music stand, right? You have the music stand right here, and I'm often like having to reach down to pedals or whatever, and then I'll go and stand up and go, and I bang the guitar right there. And it was, every time you bend, you know when you bend a note, you might go, and your thumb's got to come up to, I could feel that little dent in it. It was driving me nuts, and especially because it's right around where B and B flat is, like that's right where I play. Oh, greetings from Wellington, New Zealand. Thank you very much for joining me. I'd love to go to Brazil, man. That's one of the countries that I've wanted to go to for the longest of time now. So many good musicians seem to come out of Brazil, right? Very musical place, from what I understand. I've not been. Some guy says, sweet telly, thanks. I have a Hipshot G/B bender bridge on mine with a drop D toggle. Nice. Ron Cup says Warren is the man. Yeah, exactly. Some guy says I don't use the benders much. Yeah, it's one of those things, isn't it? I think that once you get it on your guitar, you kind of go, well, am I going to use it? And then you just don't, right? That's bridge pickup. When I had the Strat bridge pickup in there, there's no way I was going to use it, right? Like I'm not gonna. If you, by the way, if you all haven't subscribed, go and subscribe. That's the easy thing to do. Hit the like button. That all helps. This YouTube algorithm stuff is kind of dumb. You know what I mean? Like YouTube. If you hit like, then YouTube goes, well, this is a popular video, and we'll push it out to more people. And that's this crazy thing about it. Now, one of the things that I was really impressed with that we totally got right, because I wasn't sure, like Glenn said, I hope you're going to really like this pickup. And there were a couple of things I asked him for with this pickup here, what I really wanted to achieve. As I said, I want it in that kind of PAF range, so not too hot, but still got a little bit of push, enough to push like a humbucker would. But I was like, the one thing I really want from it is I want it to be as open sounding as possible, You see, it's got this kind of thing where it just kind of blooms, right? Like, and part of that was like, you know, when they wax dip pickups, the pool of wax, and they drop the pickup in, and they kind of firms up all the parts of the pickup so it doesn't go crazy and you kind of lose that feedback. Well, I said to him, can we wax dip it as minimal as possible? So I don't want it to feed back, of course, but can we just like kind of push it right on that edge? And that's the thing. See how it kind of feels like it's about to feed back, but it never quite does? That's the open harmonic thing, and I think he's nailed it. And the thing too for me is like, if you're going to have 3 pickups on a guitar, they have to work together, right? Like, the middle series, middle one. Now they tonally sound different. That's to be expected, right? If you're on the neck pickup, I want it to sound different than the bridge. But they don't sound worlds apart in volume or contextual, right? Like, it's not like I go, well, this is a whole new guitar when I go up here. I hate that, right? And that's really hard to do, especially if you have a humbucker and single coils, because it's essentially the Fender thing and the Gibson thing. It's hard to make them, you know what I mean? I whine on the live streams more often. Cheers. It's 11:15 on a Friday night, so I figure that's wine time, isn't it? Even though I've had a couple of wines already when we were watching the movie. You know, I like to have a drink, but I'm not someone who really likes to get drunk. You know, some musicians do that. You know, every so often I'll indulge probably more than I should, but generally I drink to enjoy the drink. Like this wine is, it's actually an Australian wine. It's actually pretty good. Clever Antonio says he's been to Melbourne, Australia before. Missed that, man. Melbourne rocks, doesn't it? That's such a good city. That's my favourite Australian city. Although I like Sydney a lot as well. I need to get over to Australia more. I really don't go there nearly enough, and I love Australia. It's a beautiful place and really cool people, and it's the nearest place to New Zealand in terms of like a major country. So I should just do it once a year and just go over and do some gigs. I need to make that happen. Joseph Walsh says your Strat is kind of like a Godin Session. I don't know those. They are better than the USA Strats in my opinion. Cool. Hey, I want to share an idea with you and everyone watching. One restrung yesterday, but only EADG. I don't get it. What's that? Oh, I see. Next comment. It says, gets me more focused on more textural playing. Do you ever do stuff like that, out of the box stuff? Oh, totally, man. I love it. And in fact, I have a sound set up on my Fractal all the time, which is this, right? Because now you'll hear the microphone. I'm going to mute the microphone so you can actually hear the swells properly. Right, like that's just really nice to have in a band setting, and you know all kinds of these Fractal things. You can do so much with them. Yeah, but yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I've subscribed to that channel, Chords of Orion. I like his kind of ambient textural stuff. Yeah, I really, one of my next pedals I really want to get my hands on is a Mood. The Mood 2 by Chase Bliss. Ron Cup says, what genre on guitar for you is the most challenging? I think they're all challenging in different kinds of ways, if I'm honest. And I don't say that to kind of just glass over your comment. I'm not meaning it like that, because you might think, some people think blues is an easier genre to play than jazz. I don't look at it like that at all. To me, to play good blues, like actual good blues, is as hard as to play as good jazz. Now, good jazz takes a lot more harmonic knowledge, sure, but both take a lifetime to kind of get anywhere with, in terms of really having something to say. So for me, every genre I play, I kind of look at, I'm looking for like the detail and the things that make it special, and that's what the challenge is most of the time. You know, playing classical guitar is really challenging. Playing funk guitar is challenging. You know, something like. Now see if you can do that and go. And then go. I'll start that again. And go. So there was 4 or 5 different tempos, and can you make all of them like sit and feel good? Right, like that's hard to do, you know what I mean? And how long can you do it for, right? It's one thing to be able to do that for 4 bars and make it feel good, but can you do that for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, and really make it sit in the pocket and feel musical and grooving hard, right? Give it a try. That to me is like, so that's, to me, is like, all genres are, I don't see anyone as harder or easier or whatever. They're all different. They've all got their challenges, you know what I mean? But in terms of technical things, I'd say playing bebop is some of the hardest stuff you'll ever do. I think playing classical guitar is some of the hardest stuff you'll ever do. I think playing prog rock type stuff and fusion guitar is some of the hardest stuff you're going to do. Do you know what I mean? In terms of technical stuff. In terms of harmony, well, for me, that's kind of the jazz thing, right? Like, jazz is some of the most harmonically advanced stuff you're ever going to do. You know. But then I don't necessarily think it's better music, it's just different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, hope that helps. Oh, thanks, Patrick. That's awesome. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really proud of that thesis I did, because I mean that was a year's work to do that. You know, a year. I haven't spent a year on anything in my life. When you think about it, right? Like, what have I done full time for a year ever? Nothing, right? Like, I've you know, I'm going to play guitar for a living. That's a different kind of thing. I practice all the time, but I don't do either of those things kind of like one thing, right? Like, I play guitar for a living, yeah, sure, I do that full time, but I'm not just, it's not singularly focused full time. Do you know what I mean? I haven't singularly focused for an entire year on any one thing other than that. And I learnt so much out of doing it. And there's a bunch of interviews in there with SCO that I put in that thesis, because I've known him for a number of years, and so that was one reason I chose to do that on that album of his, was that I had access to the man himself, you know, which is really useful, because I could ask him about pedals. There's some stuff in there about string gauge. I asked him about all kinds of stuff, like his approach to certain songs and things like that, and so I could give my analysis on it, but I could also go to him and go, well, this is what I'm thinking, you know, and what did you do? So that was super cool. Yeah, and there's some of my tunes in there too. My album, Refractions, that album. So I did that years worth of study, and at the end of it, I recorded an album with some friends, and that album is the culmination of the study. It's around. You can find it. I think it's on Spotify. It's on a bunch of things. It's on a record label, so I don't have any control over it. Otherwise, it wouldn't be on Spotify if I had my way. But that album, Refractions, all the charts for that album are in the thesis as well. So yeah. I don't think Refractions is on Bandcamp. No, I think it's Spotify and I don't know. The record label did it. That came out on Rattle Records, so they kind of controlled that. Yeah, so I'm sure it's out there. I have a few CD copies floating around somewhere, but. Charlie Music says that's one of the hardest things I experienced, playing Le Freak by Chic Nile Rodgers for about 8 minutes. I made it, but my right hand was sore for about 3 days. I know, right? Like, you do anything repetitious like that and it kills you. But you learn some things, don't you, right, out of doing that. I remember doing one of the hardest recording sessions I ever did was an orchestra date. And we were doing, it was that show, The 10 Tenors. I don't know if you've all seen that. Basically, it's a touring show that tours the world. I think it might be British. I think they could be Irish, but it's The 10 Tenors anyway. And I recorded all the tracks for it, so Bohemian Rhapsody, all that stuff that's on there. That's me, if you ever see that show. But there was one in there that was like a wah-wah thing, right? And they wanted me just to go, wakato, 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 you know, that sort of thing. Wakato, wakato. So this sort of part, but with the wah-wah going wakato, 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 for like 4 minutes of the song, right? The arrangements were all being written as we were playing them. It was a real cowboy kind of exercise, right? Like, we're playing, we literally, the arranger would finish it, be on your stand, you play it, record it, done, next song. And that happened for like 2 weeks. Terrible. There were 32 tunes done in 2 weeks. I had 26 written guitar solos, including Bohemian Rhapsody, which I know anyway, but in another key. Screws everything up, right? Like the bends, dumb shit. Anyway, don't get me started on that. But the wah-wah thing was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, because we did that and then the arrangement wasn't working. So the conductor would stop, the orchestra would get to the end of it, and he'll go, okay, yeah, there's an issue here. Let's fix bar number 47. Can I have bar 40 to bar 50? And we'd play that, and then we'd change some things. Then we'd do another take, and it was still wrong. There was some issues with the chart, right? And we did it again, and we did it again. We might have done it about 8 times. And after that, I looked at the conductor, and I said, I can't play this anymore. My leg, from going like that on the wah-wah, my leg was absolutely screwed. There was nothing left. It was just like, because you're doing this constant same motion, right? But yeah, so I know what you mean, right? That would be kind of hard to do for 8 minutes, right? We'll kill you. Oh yeah, don't go on Spotify. It sucks. I hate Spotify. I don't even know why I suggested it. It's just I knew it was on there. It is probably on some other platforms. I don't know. If you want to email me or message me, I'll send you the MP3s, because screw Spotify. I hate Spotify. I'd rather put the MP3s up in a Dropbox and send you a link than have you use Spotify. So message me on Facebook or whatever, or Instagram. Excuse me, do you all know the story about Le Freak? Apparently, Nile Rodgers went to go into some bar. I think it was Diana Ross had invited him to this bar in New York. Studio 51, I feel like it might have been called, something like that. And the bouncer wouldn't let him in, and he was like, well, I've been invited, you know. And the bouncer was like, no, you can't come in. And he was like, fuck off. So he went home, and that's became, freak out, right? That's how it came about. It was originally, fuck off, about the bouncer. I love Nile Rodgers, you know, all those stuff like... You know, he's just so funky with that stuff. And the thing with his playing is it was never like a really precise thing. It was not like, he wasn't trying to sound like a machine. He was trying to sound musical. And so to me it was like, it kind of floated a little bit, but in a perfect kind of way. I love Nile Rodgers' playing. He's fantastic. And the key thing with Nile Rodgers that I really liked was that he came up with guitar parts. And to me it's like, you know, you can have rhythm parts, you can have lead parts, but guitar parts within a, you know, like the things, iconic ones in songs, you know what I mean? Like if you think of Sing a Simple Song. To me, that's a guitar part. Power of Love. Right. Steve Lukather was the king of guitar parts, right? Like he just played amazing guitar parts. I'm gonna have to go in a minute, folks. This is a long live stream, but I'm really enjoying this. I'm enjoying this guitar now so much more because I feel like I've got more sonic options. And even then, having the neck and middle pickup on decent pots, the ones that were in there weren't great. It feels like it's responding better. Oh, thanks, Ron Cup. I appreciate that, mate. Oh, Swansea, for your jazz breakfast. I just spoke to Glenn and I said, man, I'm going to do a live stream tonight when we were talking about how I stuffed up the wiring, as I mentioned earlier. And I said, chime in and maybe you can talk about the pickup. And he said, I'm watching a movie with my daughter. I don't think I'll have time to. So hopefully he watches this on repeat. He really is a great pickup maker, you know what I mean? And the thing I like about him is, you know, if you want to speak to any of like if you were to try and reach out to Seymour Duncan, do you think Seymour Duncan's going to come back to you with ideas about how to do things? No, he's not, right? Like, he's the owner of a big corporation. I mean, even some of the smaller companies like, say, Lola or Lindy Frail, and you can probably reach out to some degree. But I regularly ask Glenn stuff, and sometimes it's got nothing to do with anything. I might just like text him and go, what if you did this with a pickup? Have you thought about that? Like I text him at one point, maybe 6 months ago, and I was like, have you ever thought about doing a gold foil pickup? Like, gold foils look really cool. And he's like, yeah, I have actually. And he goes, I've kind of been designing something, whether he actually did or not, but it's accessible, and to me that's like, with any gear, that's really valuable. And so I love that this guitar now has so much New Zealand kind of influence in it. I bought the pickguard because I replaced the pickguard with the idea that the original pickguard's still intact. If I ever want to put it back on, never will, but you never know. Maybe I might sell it, which would never happen, but you never know. The pickguard came from Obsidian Wire in Christchurch, who make wiring harnesses as well, I believe really good. But Obsidian Wire pickguard, Mr. Glenn Humbucker, Tone Merchants wiring harness. So Auckland, New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand. Come on, Wellington people, where are you? Actually, if you look on the wall, and you can see right about there, there's a bunch of Red Witch pedals. So I use those all the time. They're not on my pedal board because they're more like pedals that I'd use as colours and flavours. My pedal board is like my generic stuff. Like, I don't mean generic like in a bad way. I mean generic as in the stuff that does a lot of things. Like the OCD pedal, right? I can pretty much use that on a lot of different things. Or the Dude pedal, right? Or the boost that's on there. Those are like specific tools that do a lot of different things. Whereas those Red Witch pedals, which I really like, I'll grab them all the time when I'm on sessions, and I'll plug one in and I'll find a sound that's just completely unique, and I go, that's the one. And I put it down, I record it down, and get so many compliments from people about that kind of stuff. Is cool. So Charlie Music says, I ordered a G&L yesterday. Nice. A real bummer that G&L's gone, don't you think? Like, that company's now closed. Hopefully somebody picks it up, you know what I mean? I'm curious how the Z coil pickup compares to the regular strap type pickup. RIP G&L. Yeah, I know. I haven't... Yes, I have tried the Z coil pickup. I don't know much about them though. They kind of look a little funky. I quite like the idea. I think the concept's kind of cool. But again, they look like a Strat pickup, where I mentioned earlier that the Strat pickup looks the wrong way round to me. Like here, why would you want this side closer to the bridge so brighter when that's the treble strings? You'd want that to be the warmer and this one to be the brighter, right? Like, so that's why the Hendrix thing works so well. But the Z coils, I think, are the same thing. But yeah, I think they're pretty good. They're good tremolos too. Old bandmates of mine were at school with Glenn. I was there in Wales. Because I think Glenn grew up in Wales. Maybe an outro jam before you close out the stream with some backing track that could show the versatility of the Strat. With the new setup, just as a suggestion. Great suggestion, but crap. That's usual, typical me. I'm surprised I didn't knock the wine over. iPad's flat. Now it's so flat, the battery little recharge sign won't even come up. So yeah, that's how I'd usually play a track, is from my iPad, but it's flat. Sorry, so I got no tracks available that I can play to, but I can play a song just by myself, and then the other thing is you can kind of hear it all out in the open too. I'll go to the sound. Yeah, it's kind of one of those things, isn't it? You can play jazz with a Strat, and there are other people that do, right? Nair Felder does, and he sounds amazing with a Strat, but with heavy strings. So to me, it's like, I like that idea of just playing. If other people aren't playing a Strat to play jazz, great, that's what I'm going to be doing. Yeah, Will Brown, exactly. So that's the blend. That's the bridge pickup and the neck. This is the bridge. Now the blend. No, it doesn't have a super switch. It just I went with a wiring harness that just has a regular 5-way. So I think it's full humbucker, although it does kind of sound... Maybe it is splitting, I'm not sure. I don't think so, though. I think it isn't. But to be honest, I don't actually like that setting that much on this guitar. I never did. Even when the single coil was there and it was the 2 single coils. I don't know. These are kind of fatter sounding single coils to me. They have more a thicker low mid-range kind of thing going on. And I changed this too. The jack input here. So much better than the original one. I think it's called a Tone Pros or something, which is the one that came part of the wiring harness. To me, this guitar, those 2 pickups, it's tune, eh? This guitar I could do with new tuners. It's the one thing with cheap guitars is the hardware always sucks. Well, thanks very much. Yeah, and that's with dead old strings. These strings are probably like 2 years old on this guitar, so but it does that thing in that setting, and that's partly because these pickups are the cheap, nasty Squire ones, and they're really bright, but that brightness really is an advantage in that 2 and 4 position, and even more so if you go this kind of sound. So yeah, that to me is kind of, I use that if I want that. You know, the sound I'm enjoying the most out of this at the moment, crazy to say, but I've always liked neck pickup. Right, I'm a neck pickup guy, that's kind of my thing, right? But bridge pickup and then blend in the neck. Oh, whoops. See how quickly you can kind of go from that raging kind of lead tone to like a funky rhythm. I didn't even touch the pickup selector. Both of those were bridge pickup. Right? One was bridge pickup with that lead tone, and then I switched over to the clean tone and then just blended in the neck pickup to kind of get that two outside pickups like a tele. Worked, right? Man, I feel sloppy today. So I'm sure everybody has this, but I have days where I feel like I just can barely play, and that's what it feels a bit like today. Not barely play, but I feel like I'm going for things that just my fingers aren't doing. And you know what it is? Like because I was doing all that chiseling on this guitar today to chisel out the wood behind here. It was a whole lot of like bang, 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 and like a lot of stuff with my hands. And then I find when I do that stuff, like a whole lot of stuff with my hands, my playing suffers for it. You know, I find the same thing if I get out in the garden and I get like the hedge trimmers and I go, you know, my forearms get sore, and then it affects the guitar playing, right? So the key to guitar playing is be lazy. No, but I'm definitely feeling it. Like and so I always listen to my body, right? I try to like that if my hands are telling me that I'm tired, because I can hear things that I want to go for that my fingers are just not doing right now, and it'll be totally different tomorrow. But I always try and play within my means, you know what I mean? So I play what I know I can do. Anyway, I'm gonna have to sign off, people. Thank you so much for joining me. You're all awesome. I enjoyed this live stream. This was an hour 45. I normally do an hour, but I was really enjoying the sounds out of this and everybody's conversation and stuff. And you're awesome. And yeah, there'll be a video coming out soon. I'm going to put it out. There's one on feel, about how to play with feel and what that actually means. Because people talk all the time about it. So play with feel. And it's like, well, what does it even mean? So that's what I'll get into in this video. I've got one I'm planning to do, but I haven't filmed it yet. I'm going to film it tomorrow on how to reharmonize a blues in the style of Robin Ford. I'll film that tomorrow. If I can get it done tomorrow, it'll be out Sunday. So Sunday New Zealand time, which is Saturday for most other parts of the world. I really want to get that out as soon as possible. And yeah, and I've been talking about doing the Robin Ford thing for a while, so that was what I kind of settled on. I've planned it out now. I've kind of got my head around what I'm going to do, so it's just now a matter of just sitting down and filming it. Yeah, thanks very much, everyone. Take care, and I will see you all very soon. Stay cool.